She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We hope that today you're having a blessed day on purpose, because some days you have to choose to be blessed as well as be a blessing. Hey, you know, here on the Dani Johnson Show, we identify what success actually is. And I'm not the one that making the definition. You have to define for yourself. But we bring you ideas every single day, as well as topics and strategies and skill sets that will be able to help you to become more successful at whatever it is that your success goal is. You see, for some people, success for them is being healthier, more fit. For others, it is all financial. For others, it's all family, or it's all relationship. I think it's important to look at success holistically. When we have a holistic approach to success, we have a chance of actually making it across the finish line without so many hindrances or roadblocks or even full-on walls that are 6 feet thick, 17,000 feet tall and 6 feet deep. And so we don't want to put barriers in front of ourselves. And something I can tell you is that on the journey that I've been on for the last almost 27 years that I've been in business, I made a lot of mistakes in the very beginning. I did. My very first business, I failed the first 6 months because I didn't know anything about business. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about people, knew nothing about money. I had grown up on welfare in a violently abusive home. There was no business in our home at all. My parents never even worked. When I found out that the dad that raised me wasn't my dad, I met my biological father, and he was a worker, still is a worker to this day. He's actually a businessman. But what I learned as a child was not so great habits, some really bad habits that then took me into my adult life. But see, my first 6 months of failure in business had only to do with the mistakes I was making because of my lack of knowledge. Well, then my next 6 months of success that I had spent a tremendous amount of money in educating myself, going to training seminars, learning from people who were millionaires in business so that I could get like the finished cut, tell me exactly how to succeed. And that next 6 months, I worked like a slave. I did. I worked nonstop. I had no life. My whole life was about my business, and my stress level was insane. From that point, then I made a bunch of stupid choices. I met a guy and married him after only knowing him for 7 days and ended up homeless, embezzled. My business was embezzled. My bank accounts were emptied, and my credit cards were overdrawn, meaning I owed more than what the actual limit was on my credit cards. So here I was, $35,000 in debt, 50 pounds overweight, $2.03 to my name, and I'd already had a marriage failure, and I already had a business failure. My husband was now in Japan with another woman. He'd already forgot about the commitment we made under God and this covenant of marriage that we had. He had already slept around. Now this was the second time. And so I felt like such a failure. And what I can tell you is the decisions that I made after that giant failure was I don't ever want to work like that again, only for money and for success. This was useless. The other thing was that I was abusing my body. I was drinking a crazy amount of alcohol. I worked at a bar, so it was easy to get to. I also wasn't eating very good. I had this crazy sweet addiction. I loved every kind of sweet thing that there was to put in my mouth. I was a very compulsive eater. I ate based on emotion, whether I was sad, which I was sad a lot, obviously. I was depressed and even suicidal, which is why I was abusing my body with drugs. I was abusing my body with alcohol, and I was abusing my body with food. That's not a way to live. That's not a way to success. And see, a lot of people on their way to trying to make a lot of money in the background are actually abusing their health, and they don't even realize it. But see, the reality is that if we don't take care of our bodies, we're not going to live long enough to see the success that we're after. Whether that is financial success, business and career, or even ministry success, that we want to go out there and help a lot of people. Maybe if it isn't taking care of those in the sex trade, or helping kids that are orphaned, or taking care of the poor or the homeless or abused mothers, or whatever it is that your heart tugs on that you call success, that is success for you, because success is different for everybody. We're all uniquely made, designed, and we all have a destiny in mind. And we can't try to chase somebody else's destiny, and we can't try to be somebody else, especially someone that we're not. So it's important for us to identify, what is success for me? What was I made to do? Why am I on this planet? And that's what we help you to figure out every single day here on the Dani Johnson Show. 7 days a week, you have access to the show via TV, radio, or on the World Wide Web at DaniJohnson.com, and with our DaniJohnson.com app, you can catch the show 24/7. And so let's talk about a very important factor concerning you being able to run this marathon, you being able to make it through the distance, because I'm going to tell you something. You've heard this before, that success is a journey, not a destination, number one. Number two, you've also heard that life is a marathon. Success in life is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And if you're trained up for a sprint, you'll not make it through the entire marathon because you're not conditioned for a marathon. So you've got to condition your body for the marathon, because the success journey is a marathon race. It is not a sprint. Shorter little tiny goals, but that's not our life. We have lifelong purposes to live out, a destiny to live out that we have no idea how long that's going to be either. We have no idea how long you and I are going to be on the planet, but we absolutely have to plan for the best and prepare ourselves also for the worst. And so whether you're going to live to your 120, which, experts say that that's how long we should, that's what our bodies are made to last is 120 years. Are you feeding your body right now that which is going to cause your body to live only 50 years? Not to mention, let's talk about the quality of life. Because if you're on this journey and if you're building businesses or a career or a family or a charity and something that's really purposed, but you're taking very poor care of yourself, meaning your day kind of looks like this. You skip breakfast. You start at Starbucks, right? You head off to Starbucks and you've got your espresso, maybe it's a double espresso, right? Venti. I don't even know what that is because I don't do Starbucks, but let's say that you start your day just with coffee, whether it's a pot of coffee or a coffee drink through a drive-through. You head over to the office and you don't eat. You haven't eaten anything yet. Noon flies right through your day. Noon doesn't mean eat. Noon means work, and you fly through noon, and then there you are. You're flying through dinner, and somewhere around 8 o'clock at night, you end up inhaling all 3 meals at once, and then you go back to work. You head to sleep around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. You get about 4 to 6 hours of sleep, and you get up and you do it all the next day. I lived like that for a season of my life, and it resulted in a heart attack and a nervous breakdown. You see, what you put in your body has so much to do with how you think. In fact, how you think determines what you put in your body. Not only that, but whether or not you can think clearly is determined by what you put in your body as well. So I believe that your successful life has got to include food. It has to include wise choices. There was a story that came across my desk recently. I want to tell you about it. It's a girl by the name of Christina Briggs. She's a 26-year-old single mother of 2. She actually is not in this country, but I'll tell you what, she's just like many others that are in this country. In fact, just like what I used to be. And she weighs 350 pounds. She claims that it's too expensive for her to eat healthy. She says that she wants to eat healthy, but healthy food is expensive. Now check it out. In London, okay, the benefits in euros is 20,000 a year. There's 20,000 euros a year, which equates to $32,000 a year in American money. Now, it is a little bit more expensive to live over there in Europe, but I will tell you that $32,000 a year, again, equating in our dollars, 20,000 euros over there. She's saying she cannot eat healthy on this. Now, I'm sorry to tell you, but I have a problem with this belief system. I have a big problem with it. In fact, in this article, she said, she goes, a bag of apples costs the same as a multi-pack of crisps, but I can't afford both. See, hello, girlfriend. This is a really simple choice. Why are you buying the crisp? You are 350 pounds. You should not be buying the bag of junk pre-packaged processed foods. You should be buying the living food, the apple that actually has nutrition in it, that is packed with fiber, that is packed with apple pectin. I mean, it's packed with everything that your body needs to begin to sustain itself, along with other foods that you need. But it comes with all the important vitamins, important fibers. It is important. You know, come on, the old saying that an apple a day will keep the doctor away. But I guarantee you that those multi-grain crisps, or just whatever, you know, whatever the multi-pack of crisps, right? So this is some kind of carbohydrate little snack that she's making a choice. Do I buy these snacks or do I buy the bag of apples? It's a really simple choice, especially for 350 pounds. Right? Now, I know you might be thinking right now, Dani, you're being very harsh and judgmental. No, I'm not, because I was 50 pounds overweight, and I know how I got there. And it was my fault. It was my fault. This woman is blaming her benefits. She's living on welfare, and she's saying that it's too expensive to eat healthy. I shop for my family. I have fed my family, 6 people that were in the home, oftentimes 8 to 15 people at my table. And any week, this is what we do. I cook 6 nights a week. I cook healthy for my family, and I cook gourmet most of the time. And I can tell you that I fed my family on $100 a week, and that included things like napkins and paper plates. That included cleaning products. But that's my average budget. Now it's even less, because I think my husband explained it best last night, you know, that it feels like, because of all our kids are now, you know, growing up, and we've got, you know, an adult son that is at our house staying with us temporarily with his wife, and they're 20, and then, you know, a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old. It feels like we're living in a frat house, because everyone kind of has their own life, and, you know, 2 of them work at night. Actually, 3 of them work at night, and then you got one son that's actually home for dinner most of the time. So it's all kind of miscombobulated. But I can tell you that I'm feeding our family on less than $200 a month right now. Less than that. Why? Because of the scattered schedules. But I promise you, when my kids were little, and when my kids were, all the kids were in the house, where we had half adults and then half that were still preteens, I still managed to feed my family on $100 a week. So there really is no excuse not to eat healthy. In fact, we went to Facebook with this story, and we had a woman, Dr. Pamela Riley, who said, my hubby and I eat 100% organic for $50 per week. So we know it is possible. And so the question is that what excuse do you have for not eating healthy and staying overweight? And is it possible? Have you found it to be possible to eat healthy on a budget? Money's always looking for a place to go, just like our time is always looking for a place to go, and our health is always looking for a place to go. And if we do, and our mind is always looking for a place to go. Have you ever noticed that? Our mouth is always looking for a place to go. So if we do not tell our money, our mind, our mouth, our time where to go, I promise you, it's going to get pulled, and it's going to get sucked into places that do not take you to your goal. So if you're 350 pounds, you've got to make different choices. Just as when I was 50 pounds overweight, I had to make different choices. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to talk more about redefining success for your life right after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. How many weddings have you been to in the last year? A bunch, right? Think about it. Wedding bells ringing, champagne flowing, and the bride looking like a model on the biggest day of her life. So that's where there will always be a need for skilled hair and makeup professionals. Why couldn't that be you? The key is getting the right training. XMHBeauty.com does workshops giving that training. Xtina Harmsworth has a track record of results as a professional makeup artist in Hollywood, working with some of the biggest names. One makeup artist recently had the confidence to book 3 weddings after attending Xtina's workshop, and then reported that she handled 7 bridal clients on location in one day. That's serious cash. You don't have to move to Hollywood to make serious cash as a makeup and hair artist. Go visit XMHBeauty.com today. Again, that's XMHBeauty.com. So get to that site immediately and start following your dream. XMHBeauty.com. Imagine living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel made of waste material on top of old mining tunnels that could explode and sink your home at any moment. Imagine no water to drink, no safe place to raise your children, no food for your starving baby. Imagine that your kids can't learn to read because they have to work to support the family instead of going to school. Could you imagine living in that kind of fear and hopelessness? This is exactly what families are dealing with in the poverty-stricken village of Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. These families can barely meet their basic food, water, and housing needs. We are transforming that village. Be a part of this miracle. I want you to go to the website now and learn how you can help. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha. There you can join with other warriors against poverty and help bring a miraculous transformation to Santa Pancha. That's kingsransom.org, kingsransom.org.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
Eating healthy is too expensive. I beg to differ with that statement. That is just an excuse. Listen, I'm a mother, maybe, and a parent just like you. And I feed my family. I'm the cook in the household. I'm the laundry person in the household. I'm the housekeeper in the household. I know what it takes to run a household. I also run companies. I know what it takes to run those things. And I also have helped hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world no longer live a life filled with excuses, but living a life with pointed direction, taking responsibility, setting some goals, budgeting out some money, and achieving these goals. So I have a question for you. You say you want to be successful. And if you say that, how are you backing that up? You see, when it comes to becoming a success, whether that be in losing weight, getting healthy, making $1 million, having a successful marriage, raising great kids, having a successful charity or church, no matter what you want to succeed in, it takes you being personally responsible for your own choices. So many people use the excuse that it's too expensive to eat healthy. I don't have enough money to eat healthy. I completely disagree with that. And Dani, what does eating healthy have to do with success? It has everything to do with success. Nah, Dani, I'm healthy. I look good. You know, I fit into my size 6 jeans. Hold on one second here. You might look healthy right now, but you might be feeding your body poison every single day that eventually is going to catch up to you. You might even be feeding your kids poison that is also going to catch up with them. Either we're putting into our bodies fuel that is going to help us live a longer, healthier, pain-free life, or we are putting poison in our body that is going to make our joints hurt at 35, that are going to make our head hurt at 25, that is going to cause our waistline eventually to grow, that is eventually going to hurt our stamina. It's going to rob us of important, much-needed sleep and rest. It's going to cause not only your joints sore, but your muscles to get sore, inflammation that comes into the body. And then what are you doing? You're taking time away from work to go to the doctor to find out what's wrong with you. And usually they're just going to identify a symptom in your body. They're not going to tell you how it got that way. So then they're going to give you a drug, and the drug is going to cause side effects like, oh, I don't know, diarrhea. I don't know, extra bloating, lack of sex drive, which causes you to gain more weight, by the way. Okay, all of these different drugs that then we get prescribed that cause other problems, which means that you need more drugs, right? So then we have people that are 35 or 45 with 5 and 6 different pills that they're starting their day with. Come on, man, that you're not going to have the kind of successful life you want if that's the life you're choosing to live. And it is your choice. Nuh-uh, Dani, obesity runs in my family, Dani. You know, you don't know. You don't know what my genes are. You know, my daughter used to use that excuse. She did. My daughter used that excuse. My oldest daughter, I had her when I was 18, and I was bamboozled, ganged up on. I made a bad choice, okay, to not raise my daughter. Fortunately, I got her when she was 14, and that was a big blessing. But from birth until 14, she had never known me, and I had not had the chance to see her physically. I had pictures of her from time to time, and that was about it. It's a complicated story. But she was raised in a home by 2 overweight people, and the 2 overweight people fed her nothing but junk food. That's all they fed her was constant junk food. She used to have it in her head that the reason why she was heavy was because her birth mother was heavy. And then she met me, and she couldn't use that excuse anymore. I had now had 5 children, and I was in a size 6. And I'm not the crazy dieter. I'm not the crazy workout person. In fact, I don't work out at all. but I managed to stay a size 6. Now I'm 45 and I'm still in a size 6. So she had to confront her excuse. Well, I'm big boned and it must be my genetics. Yeah, my daughter's smaller than I am. She's lost 100 pounds and she's smaller than I am. She's actually coaching people on losing weight and doing it very successfully. But she's a size 4. She is tiny, itty bitty. I cannot fit into my kids' jeans. I could wear her. We wear the same size up top, but she's even smaller than I am in the bottom. Her actual bone structure is actually smaller than mine. Okay, so we can use whatever excuse we want to. And let's say that you did come from obesity, as I did. Yes, my mother was 280 pounds. My 2 sisters were 300 pounds as teenagers, and in their early 20s, they were 300 pounds. We can all find an excuse to use to not succeed. So I hope today is going to confront you, because whether you need to lose weight or whether or not you need to change your eating habits or not, you definitely need to change the way you look at your life and what you're blaming as to why you're not where you want to be. Here on the Dani Johnson Show, we redefine success for you. You have a destiny calling out for you, and if you're putting poison in, poison's gonna come out. You got a long race to run. Quit doing that. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
It's not just a meal. It's your health, your life, your future. On the way right here with Dani Johnson.
But I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's D-A-N-I Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
I know, Dani, I'm putting my health at risk, but I just really love bad food. I really love unhealthy snacks. Think about what you're saying. Dani, who cares? Quit talking to me about what I'm eating. Listen, do you know how many advocates for your success do you have in your life? Come on, think about it right now. How many people do you have in your life cheering you on, believing in you, challenging you, and putting a path to become successful in front of you? How many people do you have in your life stretching you past your excuses, stretching you past your stupid reasons that are keeping you stuck? Dani, I'm fine. I'm the size I want to be. It doesn't matter if I eat unhealthy. Yes, it does. Because do you want to be that grandparent someday that cannot get on the floor and wrestle with your kids? Do you want to be that person that's at the doctor every couple of months with a new problem that you're getting a new drug for that's taking you away from building your career, your business, or the charity or the church that you're building? Come on. Don't be so narrow-minded and focused on success in one place. Holistically think of success. You are a physical person, and you've got to put wise things in your mind and wise food in your mouth if you want good wisdom coming out of you that says, all right, I got the potential to live 120 years. I personally don't want to live that long, but if you got the potential to live 120 years, you might as well make those 120 years the best that you possibly can. And what you put in your mouth determines whether or not it's going to be the best. So I'd love to get your thoughts on this, all right? Fact. Is it possible to eat healthy inexpensively? Is that possible? What are your challenges with eating healthy? Do you choose to eat healthy or not? What are your challenges concerning eating healthy? First, we've got Amanda on line 3 from San Diego. Amanda, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thank you for having me, Dani. I'm so honored to be here.
Good. Thanks for coming here and calling in. So tell me, what are your thoughts on today's show?
You know, when me and my husband first got married, we ate out a ton, and I can't even tell you how much money we spent eating out. And we were trying to eat healthy. So when we grabbed a hold of your book, First Steps to Wealth, we sat down and we came up with a budget. And we actually found that we ate a lot more healthier when we reduced our budget. So what we did is when we go to the grocery store, we stick to our list. And, when you're buying the healthy foods that are good for us, that are live and organic, that are, making us healthier individuals, you really don't have money to buy the processed stuff like you talked about earlier, that woman, with the apples or the crisp, but really choosing the apples, you're not going to have the money in your budget to buy the unhealthy things.
Yep.
So a lot of us are spending a ton of money eating out. And so preparing your food and, cooking at home is going to save you a ton of money.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest thing with people when they're saying that eating healthy is really expensive. But when you look at eating healthy at home, you save a ton of money. So me and my husband, we save, probably about $60 a week from eating at home and sticking to our budget and not falling for the advertisement at the grocery stores, trying to get us to spend more money with the coupons and everything like that.
Yep. Amanda, I'm really proud of you, and I'm so proud of you for reading the book, First Steps to Wealth. So many people have heard about the book, First Steps to Wealth. They've seen the offer. It's a free book on our website, and yet they haven't downloaded the free book yet, or they decided that they would go ahead and have the physical copy sent to their house of the free book, and yet still haven't read it. Not only did you read it, but you followed directions. Those 2 chapters that I talk about budgeting and war on debt, you actually followed that thing. I'm really proud of you and your husband both. You are responsible citizens. You are responsible humans. You're teachable. You're humble. And that's what it takes to succeed. You cannot succeed without being teachable and humble and without following directions. And I'm really proud of you guys for doing that. Now, Amanda, I'm going to have to point out something so important that you said. Eating out versus eating at home. You will lose weight eating at home. And if you set yourself to a budget, if the budget's $20 per week per person, then you can't buy junk food that makes you fat, that makes your body hurt. You can't buy junk food that jacks with your mind and your capacity to be able to think clearly or even sleep well. And so I'm really proud of you guys because you have made the choice. Like, hold on a second. Is eating out worth how it makes us feel? Is it worth being in debt? Is it worth being financially irresponsible? Is it worth me getting larger every month? No, it's not worth any of those things. I don't care how great the food is that you're eating out. Which, by the way, where were you eating out? Was this a lot of fast food or what?
It wasn't fast food. It was actually, the fancy restaurants, but, you don't know what's in that food.
Ugh. I used to work in a restaurant. Trust me, you don't want to know what's in that food. You don't. You don't want to know what's in that food. So, wow, that's crazy. So you obviously have saved a crazy amount of money by choosing to go to the grocery store and eating the food that you're buying and not buying the junk food. I'm really proud of you, Amanda. Great job. No question. Okay, we've got line 6. We got a doctor on the phone, Geri Kruckenberg from Moline, Illinois. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, Dani.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm a chiropractor, like you say, in Moline. I hear this question all the time, or this statement all the time from my patients. It's too expensive to eat healthily. And what I say to them is you're going to either pay now or pay later.
Ooh.
If you do not eat healthy now, you run the risk of getting diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol later on in life. And the thing is, are you going to invest in your present now or gamble on your future? And the thing is like you mentioned before, you're having these medicines for these various conditions.
Yep.
They are treating high blood pressure, but you're not only dealing with the high blood pressure, you're dealing with the side effects of the medications,
yes,
as well as the medications will deplete various vitamins, minerals, and that kind of thing. So you're going to be actually malnourished.
Yep.
And then also, like, for instance, with high blood pressure, you have a higher risk of stroke, heart attack, and that. So you're not only dealing with high blood pressure, you're dealing with, possible consequences of the disease later on down the road.
Right, which is stroke. When it happened to my grandmother, she can't talk, and she was in a wheelchair until she passed away. And that's no way to live. I mean, here was his grandmother had 30 grandchildren, including her great-grandchildren. She was the cook of the whole family. She was the gardener of the whole family. She spoke the most precious, loving words all the days that I knew her. And here she has a stroke and can say no words any longer. She's bound to a wheelchair with people caring for her 24/7, no longer could serve, no longer could pick her green beans, no longer could encourage and love on or even hug her grandchildren or her children. That's terrible. And so do we want to do that? And I agree with you that we are either going to pay now or we're going to pay later. But the fact is, doctor, that it is not expensive to eat healthy. I have found that it's actually less expensive to eat healthy. Junk food is far more expensive than a bag of apples. Junk food, it is. I mean, you're gonna get a bag of chips for the same price you're gonna get a bag of apples for. It's the same price. So which one is actually nourishing the body? The bag of apples. There's no question. You can buy fresh broccoli cheaper than you're going to buy a box of Wheat Thins or a box of Triscuits. All of those snacky foods are far more expensive. Not to mention, and this one drives me crazy, doctor. It drives me absolutely crazy. Nuts. Let's buy microwave dinners.
Yep.
Really?
Exactly.
You know, this one really gets me. This one's such a scam. Have you noticed that at the grocery stores in the organic section, they will have organic green beans, okay? And the instructions on how, and it's in a plastic bag, the instructions of how to cook the green beans on the back say, put the entire bag in the microwave.
Right, exactly.
Oh my.
The plastic, yes.
Number one, the microwave kills all of the nutrition in the food.
Mm-hmm.
Really? And the plastic is harmful to the body. And we are microwaving the contents of the plastic into the vegetable. We killed the vegetable of all of its nutrition, first of all. And now we have now put harmful chemicals into the food that weren't there to begin with, that we paid extra money, right? We paid extra money for the organic because it has no chemicals in it. We put it in a plastic bag and then we microwave it.
Yep. Doesn't make sense, does it?
Oh my gosh. That is like such a scam. Those people should be knocked over the head. Both of them, the guys who put the green beans in the plastic and wrote the instructions, and the person that is actually following those lame instructions. Yeah. Microwave is bad news. Bad for the health. You know, there was a study recently, Dr. Kruckenberg, that came out about water. Because I used to only have a microwave in the house to just heat up water during the winter. And a nutritionist friend of mine, we had this open discussion. Here's what happened. I have a friend of mine who has had a sickness for a really long time, and he noticed a difference in his body whenever he'd microwave the water during the winter. I'll come back after this short break, and let's talk about this microwave and water and whether or not it really is good for us. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
What you see is what you get. What you hear is real. This is not a test. It's real life and how to deal with what comes at you every day. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
Get ready to live the uncommon life. Here's Dani Johnson.
So there I am with my friend Rob, and Rob has had about a decade, I think it's been a decade, of a internal issue inside of his body, something that's just been wrong for a really long time. He's been to all kinds of specialists in various different parts of the country. He's tried everything, prayer, you name it, food, essential oils, all of it, and he just was kind of coming to the end of himself. And there we were at Thanksgiving. And this was actually last year or year before. No, it was last year. And he had asked a question. He says, you know what, Dani? He goes, do you know anything about whether or not, and I had just gotten rid of my microwave. I was done with it because the kids would take this healthy organic food that was left over in the fridge, put it in the microwave, heat it up, and eat it for lunch. And I can't stand that. Why? Because the microwave kills the nutrition that's in the food. It causes now your body to be depleted. It's not healthy to radiate your food like that. So anyway, so the kids wouldn't stop using the microwave, so I hucked it in the garage. I took it out and I put up a nice little display where I would hang my utensils up where the microwave was and put a light in there. Just said, forget it. I'm done with the microwave. So he'd asked this question. He goes, do you know anything about microwaving water? He goes, the only thing I use the microwave for is to heat up water for tea. And I said, you know what? I don't know anything. He goes, I'm going to tell you why I'm asking this question. He says, because the only time I use a microwave is for hot water during the winter. He says, and do you know that whenever that winter season starts with that hot water, he says, I feel it different in my body. Like I find that my symptoms actually get worse. And I thought maybe it was the weather. He says, but I really wonder if it's the water. Well, my girlfriend comes over of 20 years. We've all been friends for 20 years. And she says, actually, there has been a study done. Now, okay, now listen, this is a crazy study, okay? And by the way, we've got joining me right now, Dr. Kruckenberg from Moline, Illinois. She's a chiropractor. She says that either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. If you do not take care of your body now, it's going to cost you a fortune later. And what does that mean for your success? Hello, there goes your retirement, fool. Hello, there goes your dream vacations. Okay, you'll have so many health problems, you won't be able to go on that dream vacation. Whatever it is that you have on your list of goals, if your health is not a priority in there, and I'm not saying you have to be one of those like health nuts that's, eating nothing but quinoa all the time, and you have to be one of those people that, you know what I mean? Those people are just taking it too far. It's like idolatry now, right? They're just like paranoid about everything that goes in their mouth, and they work out 3 hours a day and they work out 6 days a week. They're looking at their body all the time. That's idolatry. That's gone too far. But I'm talking about a healthy approach to success. And a healthy approach to success is making sure that you're fitting your body to last this race, okay? So that you're not setting yourself up for future health problems. So Dr. Kruckenberg was on with us earlier. She'd called in. She'd heard about the topic. So doctor, so here I am with my friend Rob. My friend who's a nutritionist comes over. She goes, there was a recent study, and I don't know if you've heard this recent study, doctor, but she says they took 2 glasses of water, and they were taking one straight from a healthy source of water and feeding one plant. They would take that healthy source of water, take another glass of water, put it in the microwave, heat it up, let it get back to room temperature, and feed another plant. They did this for 30 days, okay? They did this test on a plant, on 2 different plants, one with healthy, good water, one with microwaved water, and again, let the water cool down. Guess which plant died in 30 days?
Of course, the microwave.
Of course, the one with microwaved water is the one that died. So for what is it doing to our food? And so here we have people, and this is what's sad. And I got a question for you. Do you find that people who are thin and are the size that they want to be, that they have not much a concern for their health at all?
That's true. That's true. I mean, from the standpoint of they're concerned for their health in that they want to take care of it and keep going, but they're not concerned about having these diseases and that kind of thing because they're doing what they can.
Right.
And they're not blaming their genetics. They're not blaming society in that.
Yep. I've got a gal who's in our community. She's very tall, very beautiful, very thin. She's going to be thin for the rest of her life. She can't have any dairy. She's just a very thin person. Just genetically, the whole family's very thin. However, I find that people like that, it's like, I don't have to worry about my health. I'm skinny.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So microwave dinners. This is dinner every night. Taking the food from the freezer, keeping the plastic on, cooking it in the plastic in the microwave. And so I think a lot of us who are the size that we want to be are really deceived into thinking that we don't have to worry about it because our size is right.
Mm-hmm.
The size of your body has very little to do with whether or not you're healthy. Obviously, if you're obese, you're hurting your body. But if you're thin and you're not being wise with your body, you're going to have all the same health problems that the people who are obese are going to have. It's the same, right? Skinny people can get hypertension. Skinny people can have strokes. Skinny people can have heart disease. Skinny people can get cancer.
Yeah, that's right. Well, what happens with the body is it tries to maintain what's called homeostasis, and so that means a balance. So if you keep assaulting it, even if you're skinny, if you keep assaulting it, it's going to maintain that balance for a while, and then eventually going to break down. That's what happens with like type 2 diabetes. You might be thin, and that kind of thing. But eventually the pancreas is going to say, can't produce this insulin anymore, and so you go to be a diabetic.
Yep.
And that, so the skinny people are a little bit deceived too. Yes, you're right with that.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen it a lot to where they think, oh, I don't have to worry about it. But, those who battle with weight, they have a tendency of going, okay, I need to do something about this, but for all the wrong reasons too, right? It's all about whether or not our butt looks good in our jeans. Hello?
Right.
Gosh, this is like much bigger than that. We have kids, and do we want to live long enough to see their kids? And do we want to be able to play with them on the floor? And do we want to be able to hike with them? Do we want to be able to walk up a flight of stairs with them and not pass out at the top of the stairs, right?
That's right.
And these are the things that largely we don't think about, especially if we feel like, I look pretty good. It's not about how you look. It has everything to do with the engine on the inside.
Right.
And if that engine... Yeah, and if that engine isn't taken care of and it isn't given the correct fuel, this is the best equation I can give it. You've got a Ferrari engine, and if you put terrible, regular, unleaded fuel into a Ferrari, it's going to break down. If you don't put the best oil in the machine, the best transmission fluid in the machine, if you do not make sure it's getting its checkups and making sure that all the parts are working, it's not going to be a Ferrari. What you put into the machine is what it will perform as. So if we're putting poison into our machine, ourselves, our physical bodies, we're not going to perform, and we're not going to cross the finish line of whatever kind of success it is that we are after. That's the bottom line. Doctor, thank you so much for calling in today and giving us your professional concerns, advice, etc. on today's topic. I'm a big believer that if you don't set yourself up for success, you are going to set yourself up for failure. And I see so often, so many of my clients, my business consulting clients, that I see them running and burning the candle at both ends. And then what happens? They can't function. They can't think. They can't make decisions. Not only that, they can't handle frustration. They can't handle the day-to-day stress. And why? Because the candle at one end of putting poison in their body or not feeding it correctly or not getting enough sleep, all because why? I can't afford to eat healthy. Nonsense. Or I'm healthy. I look good. Nonsense. We got to set ourselves up for success if we're going to have long-term, long-lasting, sustained, real, holistic success. We got to be wise every day with what we're putting on our body. It helps us to perform better when we're at work. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy, it's encouragement, it's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles.
The Dani Johnson Show.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job Domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
Get ready for Dani Johnson.
Get ready for some powerful strategies financially.
Get a grip on your finances.
2% of the population will do well financially.
Only 2%?
Learn how to unlock the financial kingdom.
Dani's got the keys. Finances, love, life, relationships.
Listen in right now to the Dani Johnson Show.
The Dani Johnson Show.
Welcome to Hour 2 of the Dani Johnson Show. We're so blessed that you've decided to join us today. We're talking about success under the scope of setting yourself up for future problems or setting yourself up for future great wins. You see, there's something that you and I, every single day, are doing to either ensure us being able to have the stamina, the persistence, the tenacity that it takes to be able to build that company that we want to build, or that charity helping to free kids out of the sex trade, or build homes for the homeless who've had their home taken away from them because of a terrible earthquake. Whether our goal is to be better parents, better community people, either way, every day, by one simple action that we take, either sets us up for great success and fulfilling that destiny, or it sets us up for great failure and big problems and taking us away from the thing that we want to do. What could that one thing possibly be? What you're putting in your mouth. Yes, what you're putting in your mouth. You're like, what? Yes. Are you a junk food junkie? Huh? Do you skip meals all the time? Come on. Is your breakfast coffee and then you don't eat until later that night? Or are you slamming terrible drive-through and restaurant food in your mouth? Dani, how in the world what does that matter in comparison to my financial goal of building this successful company? It has everything to do with it. Why? Because poison in, poison out. Poison in your body produces poison out of your body. Come on, do you want to be that guy that has 5 different types of medications facing you first thing in the morning at your kitchen? I mean, your breakfast sink, your bathroom sink. Okay, is that what you want? No. These different medications that cause all these different side effects. The times that you have to go to the doctor now takes you away from building whatever it is that you're building. Your success equation must include proper health, balanced health. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about becoming one of those crazy fanatics that is constantly posting their healthy food all over Facebook, or they're constantly posing in front of their bathroom mirror with their smartphone showing their ripped abs or their backside or their arms or whatever. I'm not talking about some of these crazy fanatics. And I'm not saying everybody that posts those pictures are fanatics, but I know that some of them are. By far, I know a few of them. All they think about is food. All they talk about is food. All they think about and talk about is their bodies and their biceps and their thighs and their abs and how much fat that they're not putting in their body and how much less fat they have on their body now. I'm talking about balance. Are you eating an apple or Triscuits? Come on now. Are you choosing broccoli or are you choosing a Taco Bell taco? Are you choosing creating good meals at home or are you choosing eating out because it's fast and it's convenient? Come on now, friend, listen to me carefully. I want to see you succeed. I want to see you have long-lasting success. Well, Dani, I can't afford to eat healthy. Friend, you haven't even tried. You haven't even tried. I feed my family organic food. We have a budget of around $20 per person per week in the house, and I have done this for more than a decade. For more than a decade. Even as the economy has shifted, even as inflation has gone up, the cost of butter, I was just at the grocery store yesterday, filling up my house with food to last us for now 2 weeks it'll be before I get back to the grocery store again. But look at the price of butter has gone up, but I still manage to keep the food budget within our budget. I didn't go over the budget. Why? Because if you don't tell money where money is supposed to go, it's going to get sucked up into that sweet old lady who's standing at the end of the aisle with some new prepackaged food that she wants you to try. Or that new salsa in a jar. I make my own salsa. Or that new spaghetti sauce. I made my own spaghetti sauce last night. Or that new frozen pizza that she wants you to take a bite of. I made my own pizza last night, actually. Yes. Come on. The hot French bread from the bakery is $1 a loaf. So I made spaghetti sauce to last several meals this week, and one of the meals I made with it was fresh pizza. Yummy. On that $1 French bread. So good. I should have brought some for lunch. Instead, I had peanut butter and celery. Anyway, so we are talking today about the success of your health. And how does that fit into your overall life? It's something that seems to be overlooked all the time. It is cheaper to eat healthier. It is. It's cheaper to eat healthier. It may not always be convenient, but it is cheaper to eat healthy. It is. Make your own food. It's going to save you money. You're going to lose weight. You're going to feel better. You're going to have more stamina. Your emotions will be able to handle stress better. You'll be able to function under frustration so much better just based on what you feed your body. You don't believe me? Come on. Go eat a candy bar and come talk to me in about 2 hours about how you feel. Come on now. Go put some poison called, any one of the fast food chains down your throat right now. Call me 2 hours from now and tell me how you feel. Or come eat with me for a week. And you will lose weight. You will feel better. You'll sleep better. Your joints won't hurt. Your brain will be clear. All the way around will be better. So what is your excuse for not eating healthy? Are you one that abuses your body, or are you one that actually takes care of it? I want to know what the benefits are coming from you. We've got Maria from Georgia on line 1. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Hello, Maria. Maria must have muted out her line.
Hi, Dani.
Hi, there we go.
Thanks for having me. What I can tell you is that I do eat healthy. I do plan my meals, so whether, meals at home, my lunch that goes to work with me, it makes a huge difference in my budget because I'm not spending a lot of money going out to eat all the time or grabbing stuff on the go. So I eat healthy. I believe in living a healthy lifestyle, but it helps me to do other things too because I'm not spending all my money on food.
Imagine that. So it actually gives you're saving money, and now the money that you're saving you can use for other luxuries, other things that are important to you. Plan for a better vacation, right? Pay off some debt. Buy a gift for somebody that's important to you. Take some time off because you've saved money, and time freedom is more important to you than the money. So I'd much rather use the money that I've saved to have a 2-week vacation or just 2 weeks sitting at home, catching up on some things that I want to do at home. You're being wise with your money if you're eating healthy. And that's what Maria just said, that she's able to save money by eating healthy. Have you always done it this way, Maria?
Dani, there was a time where I ate out a lot. Mm-hmm. I would still say I ate pretty healthy, but you're still spending and you're wasting money. Mm-hmm. So, and just like the other person who called in earlier, she said, you don't know what you're getting when you go out to eat. And so, it's okay to do it sometimes, you go on your date or something like that, but not all the time. And so you have control over what you're putting in your body. Yep. Therefore, you can keep your weight off. Yep. I stay small. I don't have to worry about that problem because of how I eat. Yep. My mother, my father, and my sister my father is deceased, but the two of them, my mother and my sister, both have high blood pressure. Mm-hmm. And so I made a conscious decision I wasn't going to go down that road.
Yep. And that all has to do with what we put in our mouth. So many people get in their head that, oh, no, high blood pressure runs in my family, so I'm going to have high blood pressure. My mom had high blood pressure since she was 16 years old. She still does to this day. No small wonder. It has everything to do with what she puts in her mouth. When she was 280 pounds, she had high blood pressure, and when she's 150 pounds, she has high blood pressure. Has everything to do with what goes down her throat. And so easy for someone like me to say, well, I'm going to have high blood pressure. Guess what? I've had low blood pressure my whole life. Not high. I refuse to use my family's genetic eating habits. Because that's what it is, right? Is it really the genes, or is it what we put in our mouths? We pick up the habits of what our family eats, we put that in our mouths, and then we go, oh, see, it's genetic. No, what goes in your mouth is not genetic. Those are bad habits that were passed on. Well, good job, Maria, for you looking at that going, I ain't going there. I'm going to choose to eat healthy and stay away from all of those kinds of problems. So good to hear from you, Maria. Thank you so much for your input. We've got Jessica on line 2 from Canada. I wonder how Canadians do this. Do Canadians eat healthy, or do they say, well, it's too expensive to eat healthy and it's really not worth it? Come on, tell me, Jessica, what's the truth?
Hi, Dani. Well, I think it's the same everywhere. Mm-hmm. Everyone chooses to eat fast and on the go, or they take the time to eat healthy and make different choices. But I think where I live, near Vancouver, it's become more aware. People are more aware in general that It's kind of trendy to be healthy, so more people eat organically, free-range meat, eggs, dairy, and whatnot. But where I live is just slightly outside of the big city, and I tend to hang out with a lot of people that learn how to live off the land. So I've spent the summer harvesting fruit and vegetables from, buying harvested fruit and vegetables and learning how to can them and freeze them and dry them so that I can have that fresh fruit and vegetable throughout the year, not just in the summer. And then I'm not paying outrageous prices that, having them imported throughout the winter. So I just did 50 cans of tomatoes, 50 cans of salsa. So if we want to have nachos every Friday night, we have organic vegetable-made salsa with really good ingredients, no chemicals, no byproducts, nothing.
Nice.
Same with the tomatoes. And I've grown all my own herbs. I hung them from my kitchen all summer. Everyone called me a hippie, but in the end, everything's fresh. It's all, and it was almost free.
Yes. And you know what's amazing? Because I started doing all of that stuff about 14 years ago. And you know what's amazing about it? I don't know why, but I don't, if you felt this way, Jessica, or not, but I just felt better about myself canning, making my own jelly, right? Growing my own fruits and vegetables, drying my own herbs, and freezing things. I actually feel better about myself as a human that I'm actually
accomplished.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, but it seems that when we take better care of ourselves and our family, we feel better. We have better confidence. For some reason, it just feels that way. Jessica, thanks so much for your input. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
The Dani Johnson Show, helping people just like you make life more enjoyable and rewarding. The Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, this is Dani Johnson. Let me ask you something. Do you dream about doing hair and makeup professionally? Have you ever noticed that one stylist can charge $20 for a service and another can charge $200 and they're both on the same street? What's the difference? Their skill. One has invested into higher level of skill beyond the basic training that is offered out there. If you want to do hair and makeup, why start at the bottom? You can learn expert skills and earn professional money doing something you absolutely love. That's why I'm excited about XMH Beauty. Xtina Harmsworth has a track record of results, a professional hair and makeup artist working with some of the biggest names in Hollywood. She wants to help you achieve your dreams by teaching you her professional beauty techniques and insider secrets that will set you apart from everyone else. So don't sit on your dream another minute. Learn from the best. Get in touch with Xtina today. XMHbeauty.com. Again, that's XMHbeauty.com. For families in Santa Pancha, Nicaragua, life is filled with fear and struggle. They don't have enough food for their kids, clean water is hard to find, and they're living in a decrepit, unsafe hovel on top of mining tunnels that could explode and sink at any moment. But a miracle is in the making, and you can be a part of transforming this village. Go to kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha to see how you can help. That's kingsransom.org. kingsransom.org and click on Santa Pancha.
Giving you the playbook to design your life. This is the Dani Johnson Show. And now, here's Dani.
Success has many different facets to it. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you make a ton of money, but your health stinks, well, then are you really successful? Let's say that you make $1 million. But you have toxic relationships all around you. You have 5 different medications sitting out on your bathroom sink waiting for you to inhale as soon as you get up. And let's not forget the inhaler on those certain times of the year. Is that success? I certainly hope you're not saying yes, because it's not. Okay, what about the guy that drives that beautiful brand new Mercedes-Benz? Or the sports car? But he's fighting daily with his staff. He's covered in debt, and he has high blood pressure. Is that success? What about that mom shopping at the mall? Of course, she came in her Lincoln SUV, with her children in it. Everyone's dressed to the nines, and she's got her Louis Vuitton purse, her Guess jeans, her big old fatty diamond, yet she's a diabetic and she's cheating on her spouse. Isn't it interesting how people can look successful on the outside and have all kinds of problems on the inside? Like, Dani, you're talking about me. Listen, that's why we have this show. 7 days a week, the Dani Johnson Show is available on this station in which you are watching it, or 24/7 on the website, DaniJohnson.com, and through the DaniJohnson.com app. We redefine success. Because the 3 pictures I just painted for you are not success at all. I don't care what's in your bank account. If your health stinks, you have a problem, and it shows that your priorities are whacked. If your relationships are horrifying and there's not a solution for it, and you're not working towards making them better, I promise you, you have a warped picture of success. Is it possible to get it all? Yes, it is. And one of the things that most people overlook, especially when they're chasing success, is their health. Your health has everything to do with your bank account. It has everything to do with your relationships at home. How? Because what you put in your body determines whether or not you can deal with the emotions of dealing with other people properly. Whether or not you get good sleep, whether or not you're able to solve problems at work, whether or not you can think objectively. You see, skipping meals makes you anxious. It does, you know, it's called hangry. Ooh, you're tipped off really fast when you skip meals. And so then you have to go say you're sorry to your staff because you were an idiot. Come on, you know it. Your health has got to be a priority. Now, don't be some fanatic. Be wise. Be wise. So today we are talking about your health. We're talking about your success, and quit using the excuse of, I can't afford to eat healthy. Yes, you can afford it. I got to tell you about one of our clients, Adeline Parsons. Oh my gosh, what an incredible story this one is. Years ago, back in 2008, her husband had seen me on a television show. He had seen my story. He heard of the miraculous testimonials of our clients and all their great success financially and the mending of relationships and being able to make more with less time, that he told his wife, and he was an older gentleman, he told his wife that he was sending her 2 first steps to success. Adeline fought with tooth and nail. She said, I ain't going to that. I don't want to listen to that broad. What is this all about anyway? He only made $600 a month. He had a janitorial business that was failing. But he loved his bride so much, and he saw that she was depressed, 298 pounds at 5 foot tall. She was terribly overweight, failing in her relationship with him, had been suspended twice in her job. She worked for a telecommunications company, walked out with no pay twice, about to be fired for good. Her son was 50 pounds overweight and suicidally depressed. They were riddled with debt. The family was just dying daily. She came out to First Steps to Success, and I got to watch month after month after month. Every time that we did First Steps, there was Adeline in the second row. I got to watch her shrink right before my eyes. What caused her to shrink? She started to get healthy on the inside. She started to see herself differently. She lost 135 pounds, paid off $125,000 worth of debt, and got 3 huge raises, and now has her own corner office and is in management because of the skills that she learned at First Steps. Now, she used to have that excuse, it's too expensive to eat healthy. I don't have time to fix all these problems. I just want to run from all these problems. She invested time into herself. She invested money into herself, and she learned new skills of budgeting, and the budgeting skills that I teach with War on Debt of getting the family food budget down to $20 per person per week for food. This caused her to lose weight. Because if you have a budget of $20 per person for food per week, you can't buy junk food. You have to make healthy, wise choices because it actually is cheaper to eat healthy than it is to eat junk food. Okay, so listen. I want you to evaluate your health on this break. I want you to evaluate your habits. Are you setting yourself up for long-term success or straight up failure? This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Memberships to the gym are not the only way to get back to the body and health you need. Dani tells you more next.
You want to succeed, right? But you do not want to fail God at the same time. There is a way to succeed from a biblical perspective, and it's far greater than anything you could ever imagine. Over 500 scriptures I studied to study money, everything that the Bible said about money. That's in the first couple chapters of Spirit-Driven Success. Not to mention leadership, working with people, growing a career, being used mightily in the marketplace, which is where Abraham, God used him in the marketplace. And Joseph, God used him in the marketplace. Moses, God used him in the marketplace. Daniel, Solomon, really all of the greats of faith, most of the greats of faith throughout the Bible, they all were in the marketplace. And God wants to show you how you can be used mightily by him in the marketplace. Right here, Spirit-Driven Success is where all of my notes are on how you can do that. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Spirit-Driven Success today.
Now, more of the Dani Johnson Show.
The first wealth is health. Wow. That's profound, isn't it? Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote that. It's very true. So many people are chasing wealth, sacrificing their health to get there. You can't buy back your health. I'm so sorry. I don't care how rich you become. You cannot buy back your health. You also can't buy back bad relationships. Relationships that were supposed to be healthy that are now toxic because of a lack of priorities in the right places. You know, I sacrificed my health twice in my life for my success in business. Bad idea. Really bad idea. You don't want to make that kind of mistake. You know, at the top of the first hour, I uncovered a story that took place actually in London. It was a 26-year-old single mom of two who on benefits there is 20,000 euros a year, which is $32,000 a year here in United States money, if that's what you want to call it. More like Monopoly money. Anyway, she weighs 350 pounds, and she says it's not her fault that she weighs 350 pounds because she can't afford to eat healthy on benefits, on welfare. Okay, that's what they call it there. It's welfare here. So she says it's not possible to eat healthy on welfare. That's the biggest lie ever. Number one, someone who's 350 pounds, you control over what goes in your mouth. She then goes on to say that, hey, listen, a bag of crisps, okay, it's a bag of junk food, costs the same as a bag of apples. I can't buy both. Isn't that just a picture of where most of us are today? That I can't have both, so I'm going to pick the junk? No, you can't buy both. You're right. You shouldn't buy both. You're 350 pounds. You shouldn't be buying one of it all. The apples is the one that makes the most sense. Eat a bag of apples. First of all, you won't be able to eat an entire bag of apples in one sitting, but you certainly could eat a bag of chips. They cost the same. You could eat a whole bag of chips. Tell me how you feel after eating a whole bag of chips. Eat a whole bag of apples. You know you can't eat the whole bag of apples in one sitting. In fact, one small apple, the sugar craving went away. The desire for more food goes away after you eat that one apple for a snack. It's gone. Okay, so if that's all you had there was apples, I promise you, you're gonna, I can't say that. You're gonna lose weight, I'll just say that. You'll lose weight because you eat a whole bag of apples, you won't be making a lot of trips to the bathroom. No question. So we're talking about health today in respect to creating wealth. It's impossible for you to run this race and not have health as being a priority. You have to have health as a high priority. It doesn't mean become a fanatic. It means that your health needs to be in balance if you plan on becoming successful in your business, your family, your career, your community, your charity, whatever it is that you're doing, health has to be a part of it. So we're taking your comments and your call, hearing from our faithful listeners to the Dani Johnson Show about how they see health, whether they ate bad at one point and spent a lot of money eating bad and then they changed it to eating healthy. Did they save money? What happened to their health as a direct result? We've got April from Redding, California. April, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Hello, April?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, it was on mute. I was calling in today because this is a very passionate subject for me. I was so clueless about how to eat well, even though I cooked a lot at home, that I didn't even know that I was infertile until later when I learned some more. I couldn't have kids for 2 years, and a friend of mine came to me and made some simple suggestions to me, which I implemented right away, and she just kind of gave me a crash course in what you need to actually produce children and to carry them to term and all of that.
Did that have to do with how many times a day you had sex, or did that have to do with what you were putting in your mouth?
No. What I was eating.
What you're eating. Because you were having plenty of sex. You were having plenty of sex.
Yes, but in 1 month I got pregnant, and this was after 2 years of trying to have children, not having children, and I had one pregnancy in that time frame that only lasted a few weeks. So 1 month of eating differently, and I got pregnant.
Wow.
And then I have 4 kids now. So it's, obviously been ongoing. And I was able to sustain, I had what I needed to sustain and carry those pregnancies. But something that I hear very often from other moms is that one, especially young families that are either whether they want to be or not, they're on a very tight budget, is that they don't have the time and that they can't afford it. And I do buy more.
Okay, hold on, April. I got to stop right there. Okay, just hold on. Isn't it interesting how they say they don't have the time and they can't afford it? However, let's look at their lives. How much time are they spending on Facebook? How much money are they spending on violin lessons for the kid that doesn't even want them? How much money are they spending on piano lessons for the 5-year-old that is not going to be Mozart? And wait a second, let's talk about the basketball practice, the soccer practice, the hockey practice, the dance lessons, the ballet lessons. But we don't have the time and we cannot afford to eat healthy for our family. I want to line up every one of those broads and give them a wake-up call upside the head. Ugh. Keep going, April.
Well, I love encouraging them to make simple changes. Yeah. And like my friend did with me, I've grown leaps and bounds in how we eat since, start with. To start with, I started taking cod liver oil and eating lots of butter. And I threw out my white and refined foods, and instead I brought the brown. I got brown rice. I got
so much better
flour.
Brown rice is so much better.
much better for you.
Oh,
and then
it tastes
there's
better.
other things I've learned, making homemade salsa. I've loved doing that, but I've learned to it only takes a couple days and maybe not even any extra time to just ferment it. So then you're getting in, the value of all the probiotics and enzymes, which you can go and buy from the store. A lot, it costs a lot of money to buy probiotics and especially high quality ones, or you can ferment your own food at home, and it's basically free. I mean, you're eating the food anyways, and so then your salsa, like when tomatoes are in season, get a lot of tomatoes or get them at the farmer's market or from your garden or whatever. You can ferment them, and then instead of that salsa, if you made it fresh and didn't eat it, it'd be kind of mushy. If you tried to save it, wouldn't be that great. But if you ferment it, then you've got the added benefits, and then it lasts in the fridge literally for months, and it's as fresh as the day you made it.
Wow.
And then I learned to make chicken stock or, beef stock or all kinds of different stocks. I use that in all my cooking. So not only are you getting the gelatin and all the extra nutrients, I mean, your food is going to taste so much better when you're using those things to make your soups, your sauces. And then,
April, let me ask you this question. You said in the very beginning, I love what you said. You said, I was clueless. I didn't even know how to cook healthy. I didn't even know that I wasn't cooking healthy. There's an entire generation, because they were raised on fast food. They were raised in these very busy lives. Mom didn't cook. We took mom out of the house. Mom worked a full-time job. Kids went into the daycare, went to the after-school programs, and the mothers didn't teach their daughters how to be mothers, how to be wives, how to care for the home, how to care for the health of their children, how to care for the health of them and their spouse. And so there really is I have a friend that hasn't got a clue on how to cook anything. And many people have tried to teach her. And it shocks me that she's being robbed of feeling the confidence of being a real wife and a real mother. And I found for me that me gardening, me making fresh food every day for my family, doing the things that you're talking about that you do, you've taken it to a whole nother level. I don't ferment my own food. I did grow kombucha for a while. But this is, how does it make you feel as a woman? I'm not just talking about health-wise, food-wise, but how do you feel as a woman to take such care of you and your family?
It makes me feel so empowered, and I'm totally in control. I'm in control of where the dollars are going. I'm in control of what I'm prioritizing. I'm in control of, just knowing that if I want to buy the best here, it's because I'm cutting here, because I'm buying carrots instead of, artichokes or whatever, We eat mostly organic, but I do it, I don't quite do 20 a month, but I do between 20 to 25.
It's awesome.
Per person, per week, I should say, not a month. But, we eat mostly organic, and we eat wild seafood, and we eat pastured meats and chicken and eggs, and I buy raw milk that's pastured, and we eat very quality items, but there's a lot of other things that I'm not buying. And when I go, to the grocery store, then I've got, my seafood, or I've got this or that. I put the most money into my quality animal foods, or get them from the farmer directly. But, I'm probably spending as much as some people that are, or maybe even less than some people that are putting other, even organic foods, or whatever, like more convenience type items.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of those now. There's a ton of convenient organic foods now on the market. It's crazy. They have found a way to make, Kraft makes organic macaroni and cheese. Still not a good choice. Even though it says organic, it's still not, exactly, it's still not a good choice. April, thank you so much for your comments, and I love what you said. You feel empowered. And that's the word I was actually searching for, right? And for any of us to succeed in any area of our life, we have got to be empowered, and sometimes going back and doing what we're called to do. And this is something that all women are called to do. We are all called to take care of our homes. We are all called to take care of our spouse and our children. We're all called to be that nurse at the house and the dietitian, right? The nutritionist in our homes. We are all called to put in our families' bodies that which is going to sustain them for long, good health. That's what we're supposed to do. And it is empowering. I challenge you to do it. I challenge you to do it now. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more right after this.
Don't just stand there. Soak this up. It's joy, it's encouragement, it's insight to a better life and how to meet your obligations and overcome obstacles.
The Dani Johnson Show.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
We're back. Here's Dani Johnson.
You gotta weigh your excuses with your goals. You do. If you're going to have success in business, in your family, your community, with your charity or your church, you gotta trump those excuses by going after your goals. And one of the things that you have to have in your list of goals, if you want to have long-term success, if you do not want to set yourself up for future failures that rob your time, you got to consider your health as something on your goal list. What do I mean by that? Friend, that junk food you just put down your throat is not going to help you make more money. Oh, no, yes, it will, Dani, because I don't have time to go eat. So I only have time to be on the phone and driving through the drive-thru and still making calls at the same time I'm shoving that burger in my mouth. No. This will not help you to become successful. Dani, if I choose to eat a cheeseburger for lunch, I'm telling you that has nothing to do with my bank account. It has everything to do with your bank account. Number one, you're spending too much money. Number two, you're putting poison in your body. And poison in your body means that your body is eventually going to scream at you. It might be your joints that are screaming at you from the swelling. It may be your pancreas saying, forget you, man. You have just overworked me too much. I'm out of here. It could be that the antioxidant race against the oxidation in your body says, forget it, I give up. I'm not getting any help. She keeps putting poison in my body. How can I fight this war every day against cancer if she continues to put more poison inside of me? Cancer's expensive. Totally, 100% preventable. Cancer's expensive. Yep, it is. Heart disease is preventable. Strokes are preventable. Diabetes even is preventable. They have noted that all diseases can be prevented through what? Proper nutrition. Well, Dani, vitamins are too expensive. I'm talking about just eating right, friend. Just eat right. Choose the fruit. Not in a can, not in a cup, okay? Not pre-cut, sprayed with some chemicals to make sure the apple doesn't turn brown. No. Like a raw apple. Wow, novel idea. Dude, wow, that's amazing. You are either putting future problems inside of your mouth, or you are putting life inside of your mouth. You need life to hit those financial goals, family goals, vacation goals, business or career goals. You have to build that church or that charity. If you're burned out like the woman I just met in Ohio, gosh, a diabetic in her 60s, hadn't eaten all day, there she was with a bag of carbohydrates. Freaking out, cried on a dime. Poor thing has run herself ragged, gets no sleep. Stressed out beyond stressed out, has an incredibly powerful ministry. Not sure if she's going to live to see it come to pass. She even confessed those words to me. Why? Because health, how we treat our bodies, either sets us up for an aborted dream or it sets us up for fulfilling the dream. You got to make the choice. So what's your excuse for not eating healthy? Some say it's too expensive. Others have found a way. We have April on line 5 from Florida. April, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
The biggest things that I found in my kids' diet actually was the artificial food coloring, the high fructose syrup, and the preservatives.
All GMOs. All GMOs.
I had no idea the effect that they were having on my kids.
Yep.
2 months ago, I took them off all of it, and I cut my grocery budget, down to $75 a week. And the way that they have changed in just talking to each other, they're not screaming all the time. You can tell they're visibly not stressed out.
Yes.
And I had no idea. I thought it's food coloring. It's nothing.
Yep.
It just changes the color. What harm is it doing?
I guess it was making your kids fight. And it's the truth. And here's what's interesting. I love, April, first of all, I'm so proud of you that you're a good mom. I'm so proud of you that you are a real mother. There's so many moms out there that have no idea how to be a mom. They have no idea how to do the research. They don't even realize that part of being a mother is being conscious about the food that you're putting inside of your kids' bodies. Actually being aware. Am I poisoning my kids? Because here's the facts. And I wrote this in the book, Grooming the Next Generation for Success. It was the very last chapter of the book. And what I wrote in there was the strategy of nutrition and how nutrition is a very important strategy because either we're setting them up for future health problems and current emotional problems, or we're setting them up for future success. And you have found that, hold on a second, my kids were grouchy. Were these two girls by any chance?
Yes. Yep.
Which don't need help being grouchy. Right? Girls don't need help being more emotional. They already are emotional. They already can be grouchy. They already can be jealous and competitive with each other, right? They don't need extra help. And what gives the extra help is the bad food that we're putting in their bodies. Because every day our bodies deal with stress. And if we're not getting the amount of nutrition that we need, which has been noted by various different specialists, we need 110 nutrients every single day to keep our body healthy and functionally right on target. Most of us do not even give our body 20 nutrients a day, let alone 110. So imagine these little growing bodies. Think about their bodies are growing every day. And we are not putting in that nutrients that they need, that deposit that they need. But instead, we're putting chemicals, dyes, GMOs inside of their bodies and can't figure out why they are crazy. Can't figure out why they can't focus. Can't figure out why they can't think straight. Can't figure out why they can't sleep. Can't figure out. And it all comes back down to, what am I putting in my kid's body? What am I putting in? So April, I'm really proud of you. Good job for getting disciplined, looking at the food budget, shrinking that food budget down to where it's much more manageable. You're saving money by not buying junk. Is that what you just told me?
Yeah, I've actually paid off $5,000 worth of debt by changing our food budget, and we actually got to take 4 week-long vacations this year, where I never thought I could have afforded it in the past. I always said I couldn't, and just stopped going out to eat, changing the food. There was all this extra money.
How does that feel? How does that feel?
amazing.
Right? You took your kids on a vacation, several vacations, and they're nicer to each other because of the food you're putting in their body isn't aggravating their bodies. Wow.
Yeah.
You have to feel pretty awesome as a mom. What is your
I
future?
do.
And you think about, what does my future look like now? Man, oh, great. I'm not blowing money on stupid food anymore. We're eating healthy. We're going to live longer. We're going to like each other better. And we're going to have a good time with our life. And we're paying off debt. I don't know. It sounds like a win-win to me, man. That's all I got to say. Thank you so much for being a responsible woman. I absolutely love that. This is Dani Johnson. Thanks so much for joining me today. Join us tomorrow for another strategy for you improving your success. This is Dani Johnson.
You've been listening to The Dani Johnson Show. It's our belief that you can live a better, healthier, happier life. All you need is a little encouragement, a different perspective, a positive force in your life. Get that and more on the next Dani Johnson Show.
Did you know you can see Dani Johnson live and in person? Go to DaniJohnson.com and find out about our next live event. First steps to success. Register today. Call 866-760-8255 or go to DaniJohnson.com/FSTS.